Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about my trip to Pakistan and how it went there and how I ran into the demons there, how their whole establishment, the military establishment, their law enforcement, um, their intelligence agencies, they're all controlled by demon and all controlled by the Matrix and the Illuminati. So last year, as you guys may be aware from my previous videos, I took off and left Canada and I moved to Pakistan. And on my way there, on my flight there was two spies on the flight, either demon or human, I don't know, that were trailing me. And once we were in the middle of the flight, I informed the flight attendant that these two spies are there and they have been following me since Canada. And once she made the airport ground crew aware, as soon as the flight landed, they were confronted by the ground crew. However, as soon as the matter was reported to the intelligence agencies over there in Pakistan, they had a completely different reaction to it. In fact, they were kind of saying that no, there's nothing like that. They were denying it the whole time, and they even threatened to send me back to Canada. And they said, well, they try to get me to sign a paper saying, I have to admit that there's nobody after me. There's no, my life's not in danger. Nobody was following me, and if I don't do that, they will send me back to Canada, and then I can deal with everything there. So as soon as they said that, I told them, I was like, look, I'm a citizen of this country as I'm a citizen of Canada, so you can't really send me back there because my life's in danger there. So how could you send me back to a country where my life's in danger when I'm also a citizen of this country? So as soon as I told them that, they, one of the cops who was threatening to send me back kind of apologized, and then he said, like, I'm sorry, and so on. Anyways, moving forward, I was in Pakistan for about 6 months. So I was traveling around the northern areas, and I did one trip right in the beginning where I left my home city where I was staying with my parents, and I moved around a bit, moved to the northern areas and so on. And later on, one of my family members who's in the military there contacted me, and he said that I should meet up with him. So he invited me to his house, which is located on a military base. And one of the military bases where he was stationed, and the residence was also there. He invited me over there, so I went to go see him. And once I was there, I was at that military base, I met up with him. We talked and whatnot. He didn't let me stay at his house. He booked a separate room for me on that base, and it was like it's like for the guests. It's like a guest house or something, right? So he didn't let me stay in his own residence, even though he's a really close relative of mine. He kept me in that separate location inside a guest house or a guest area. So anyways, he got me a room there, and I was staying in that room. And later he introduced me to a colonel in the military, and who was, I guess it was a superior. And we went out for lunch a couple times. We went out, we had lunch. We had dinner. We just talking about normal things. I told him about the Matrix and how I've been under attack, and how they've been trying to get me into legal trouble, and I explained to them some of the ways that they try to get me into legal trouble, through honey trapping and through other various methods. And once and I also told him about the fake charity that they try to get me to raise money for terrorist financing and all that, try to accuse me of terrorist financing. And he was kind of implying that, oh yeah, this happens over here too, blah 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 blah. And I was like, okay, cool, everything seems cool. And then all of a sudden their attitude changed a little bit. And now, the colonel. He would come for dinner with us, and then he would just say some weird things like. First he's like, you're asking me too many things about us. You don't tell me anything about Canada. And I'm like, well, if you want to know what I know about Canada, it's all on the internet because I've made videos and I posted everything there. So there's nothing more to that than what I've already put out there. So what he told me, and then he started saying these really weird things to me. Like first, one day he comes in, he's like, "Oh yeah, you know what? We torture people and we do this and we do that." And I was like, "Okay, that's kind of a weird thing to be bragging about. Like, you're really proud of what you're doing. Like, come on, man. Like." So then he went on. I kind of ignored it, but then he went into little details. Like, then he tried to tell me one of the ways that he tortured people. It was either him or his team, and he explained that way to me. And he said, what we do is we take a pipe and we insert it into the guy's anus, into the person who's being detained or being tortured. We insert it into his anus, and once the pipe is in there, we put a barbed wire in that pipe, into that plastic pipe. And then once the pipe is in his anus and the barbed wire is in there inside the pipe, we pull the pipe out, but we don't put out the barbed wire. So basically, the anus contracts and the barbed wire is in the anus, and the rest. So he was pretty much describing some really horrific ways of torturing people to me. And I was just like, when he told me that one, I was like, you know what, that sounds pretty gay, man. Like, I think that's, you're putting shit up people's asses. That's something a fag would do. Like, that's pretty gay. So when I told him that, he was like, so what do you think? We're gay too? And I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I don't really know you that well to be making judgments like that. So anyways, when he asked me if I thought they were gay, and I kind of said, I don't know, it sounded like he got really offended. It sounded like he was really offended, and he didn't take kindly to that. And then he started, I could just tell by the way he reacted, he wasn't too happy about that. He sounded very very confrontational now, and he was kind of threatening me now, and he's like, oh, you know what, you're a foreigner, you're on a military base, if I tell the military police, they will come take you away and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, first of all, I'm not a foreigner, I'm a citizen of this country as well, so you can't be threatening me with those kind of Gestapo bullshit. I know what you guys do, but don't be thinking that I'll be intimidated by you just because you're making these threats. So anyways, he goes on, and later I had these headphones, and I told him, like, yeah, these are really good headphones, and he's like, can I see them? And I give him the headphones, and then he's like, oh, you're lucky I'm giving it back to you, because if I didn't want to, I wouldn't give it back. And I'm like, what, you're gonna steal my headphones from me? Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? So anyways, moving on, in the beginning when I was on that military base, I did experience some demonic activity. I saw this one little demon, one demon shapeshifted into a little girl and approached me while I was there. And he didn't say much, he was just asking directions, which was a bit odd because the little girl asked me for the directions of the exact place where I was coming from, right? And I don't see, it was like a cafeteria, and I don't see what business she had there, because it was too early to be there. And like, if she wanted to go to that cafeteria, she lived there, so she obviously would have known where that cafeteria was. Like, she didn't have to ask